Good afternoon and a warm welcome. You're watching Education News Network, and today we're bringing to you a fresh new topic of discussion that is prolonged screen time and insomnia, the repercussions on teenagers. And for that, we have with us a panel of eminent educators who will be joining us in this panel discussion today. So let's welcome our first panelist of the day. We have Dr. Ritu Chauhan, the principal of Manipal International School, Bangalore. We welcome you, ma'am. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Our next panelist is Mr. Alok Birmani, the principal of the Sapient School, Dehradun. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next panelist is Mrs. Shalini Kadve, the principal director of Wisdom High International School, Nasik. Welcome, ma'am.
Hello and thank you.
We then have Mrs. Pallavi Sharma, the principal of Mamta Modern Senior Secondary School, New Delhi. We welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, and greetings to all the panelists.
Lastly, we have Ms. Urmimala Sudhakar, the principal of Summerfield School, Gurugram. Welcome, ma'am.
Good evening, and thank you so much for having me on the panel. Greetings to all.
Thank you for being here. So to discuss our topic of discussion, may I please invite our first panelist, Dr. Ritu Chauhan, to speak on the topic, please.
Yeah, hi. Hello, everyone. I would like to thank the team of ENN for giving us this platform today. This topic is very much relevant for me as a principal and as a parent. I'm mother of two daughters. One is in grade 9 and another one in grade 11. So now, due to this current pandemic situation, screen time for education is completely unavoidable. And I completely agree with the challenges which we all parents and education fraternity is facing at this point of time. So what are the repercussions when it comes from the topic I'm taking? Insomnia, yes, depression, anxiety, irritation, mood swings. I have seen personally lower academic performance of students, cut off from the family, no exercise, no routine, not able to handle their emotions, weak immune system, obesity, lethargy, overeating and junk food and etc. Now, problem is evident in front of us. So let us talk about, I felt that let us talk about the solutions here. So let me tell you as a parent, as a mother, I'm telling that we all parents should set an example in front of our kids, because right now we are also working from home, kids are also studying from home. So and we need to help them to set their routine for the day. And it's always better to allow them to make their day schedule rather than we forcing upon them. And but definitely we must set boundaries for this educational and leisure screen time. There are two things. Educational, yes, we should follow it with some precautions, but there is leisure screen time also, which is prolonged by these teenagers. So for example, like make a point that all the gadgets will be switched off by 10 p.m. I'm just citing an example here. Some quality time with your family, like playing a game with your kids or just discussing about their day or meditation or anything which you like. Make sure, I personally do it. That's why I'm saying, make sure all lights of your house are switched off at 11 p.m. and the bedroom is like quiet, dark and cool. Ideally, the bedroom should be a screen-free zone. But in my case, my daughters, their bedroom has their tables, laptops, and everything in that room. So, but I make sure that they turn off their devices and sleep on time, and they don't see the phone just maybe 1 hour before the sleeping time. So I have fixed their morning time, suppose 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. we can set. We have set the day routine for our students as well as my own kids. Other activities like my children like to play football and play piano. So fix the time in that day for that. Meal timing should be fixed. Exercise time should be there, like for yoga, for Zumba, any kind of sport. And 20 minutes or 15 minutes nap time if they feel. So this leisure screen time is causing the real problem actually, if you see in case of my students and my own kids. So discuss the consequences of lack of sleep and remind your teen that less screen time gives them, more time for socializing, more family time, more time for homework, for sports and extracurricular activities. And be aware of your teen's technology use. As a mother, I keep actually a check. There are apps which are available. As a parent, I know how much my child has spent on social media, YouTube, etc. So accordingly, we need to intervene if they cross that set limit. Ask them to change the setting, because this message tone keeps on, it's a habit for all of us to keep checking our phone. It keeps our mind active and alert, which lead to insomnia in the nighttime. So it's our duty as teachers, principals, and parents to guide the students and support them for the proper usage of these gadgets. So I hope these points will help us in solving these issues. Thank you once again for this platform, for sharing my views. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your views. I completely agree with you on how the bedroom should be a screen-free zone and all of that. Thank you. Mr. Alok Vilmani, can we hear from you, please?
Thank you so much. I would basically just like to add what I have just heard from Dr. Ritu. I have divided actually into three portions. What it is actually, what are the consequences of this, and of course, what are the solutions. There were certain points which I'll cue from Dr. Ritu Chauhan. Like, our body needs a proper sleep. We have to sleep. Why the sleep is been required? All the chemicals which work inside our body needs to be restored. Why they need to be restored? So that our memory becomes sharp and we are in a position to retain it. Like it is very rightly been said that 6 to 8 hours of minimum sleep is basically required. In case the sleep is not there, of course, the body function will slow down and we'll have a lower quality of life. So this was my basic first portion, which I've done. If we all must have heard about a chemical, now this chemical is dopamine. This dopamine chemicals keeps on alerting us that there is a notification, there is a message, and we are being charged so much with this chemical that we need to know more. If you're talking of teenagers, I'll try to limit myself to the teenagers, that 72% of us want to respond to it immediately. And we are so much glued into it that we want to basically wish to know that what is the next message, what will be the next message. So there's one more study which has come out about the blue light. Now, what's the purpose of blue light? Blue light of the screen is not actually harmful. The only difference is if we use it after the daylight, this basically loses our sleep because of this. Big gimmick played in this corporate world just because they wanted to further market their filters of blue light, their glasses of blue light. So actually, blue light is not a villain. The basic villain is the screen. In case, Dr. rightly said, in case we fix the time, we do not go beyond 10, I think that will be perfectly all right. And this has also been revealed to an extent that blue light actually damages the retina of an eye. Though the studies are still going on, I think we need to wait for the further studies about this blue light. Now, this has been very well covered. Like we'll have trouble with thinking in case insomnia is there. Concentration will go down. This is quite possible. Loss of short-term as well as long-term memory, mood swing, weak immunity is there. Like when we have a proper sleep from 6 to 8 hours, certain antibodies are being developed, and these antibodies fight the viruses and the bacteria. So, of course, because the metabolism slows down, so the appetite is increased. We want to eat more, so that may lead to weight gain. Sugar level, the study says, also will be shot up. The heart disease possibilities, if there improper balance of mind and body, difficult in taking quick decision, right decision, the certain fine lines and wrinkles have been developed in the skin. Of course, eyes get affected, and somewhere or the other, this has also come out regarding the cancer of prostate, cancer of breast, and all that. This is an endless topic. You can talk volumes and volumes about it. Of course, people become more impatient, anxiety, depression, paranoia, they become irrational, they become suspicious and all that. Suicidal thoughts are also there. Lower performance in academics. Of course, substance abuse is also there. Quickly, I would like to wrap up now with the solutions of this. I'm sure we all are aware of this thing. We have to have a 20-20-20 formula. Now, this 20-20 formula is 20 minutes of screen time, whether it's a laptop, computer, or it's your mobile, 20 minutes of screen time, then you have to give a gap of 20 seconds. And it is must. Everybody gets 24 hours in a day, and accordingly, we have to manage it. And after 20, when we are giving 20 seconds of a gap, we have to have a clear vision. We have to look at a distance of 20 feet. And then again, we can get back to our work. So this 20-20 formula will be there. Of course, there are certain app, where we have this options of changing the light, changing the background in case we are using it after 6 in the evening. Of course, our posture position needs to be very comfortable. Adequate lights of a few needs to be there. After 10, I, honestly agree with this. After 10, the gadgets should not be used. Or maybe if it is an urgency, we can at least mute the notification. And other activities also should be taken by the children in case their screen timing is too long. Nowadays, of course, it is too long because of online education. Exercises of certain eyes are there, cannot go into detail. If the infrastructure allows, I think the humid control needs to be also there at the place where we are using. Before going off to sleep, we must read a book. Let's have a habit of reading a book instead of, having an access to any gadget. If you read a book, I think we'll have a sound sleep. And my last suggestion out here is that maybe the size of the screen can vary. Too much of dependence on mobile phone should not be there, maybe a desktop or a laptop. So that will also help our children. I think that's all from my side. Thank you so much for an opportunity and for such a patient listener.
Thank you, sir, for your views on the topic. Thanks a lot. May I please invite Mrs. Shalini Kadvi to speak on the topic now?
So good afternoon once again. And the topic today where I would like to share my thoughts and my views on for, I think, excessive time the children are spending on the online basis. Now, the online basically is the outcome and rather the gift for the youngsters or the teenagers, pandemic more so ever, because we were already struggling as a generation to get some kind of solution for this online business that was happening amongst the youngsters. And suddenly then we got this added up with the COVID and the pandemic, which came up into the entire world, which left us again helpless, because not only did it bring it as a necessity, but right from a small child of 7 to 8 years old, whether it was a first grader to a university graduate or a postgraduate, logging on all the time to the internet and trying to hunt down for his own possible survival that he had to do as a student or as an adult. We are all hooked to it. Now we only feel that the teenagers are hooked to the online or to the excessive screen, viewing and all this. This is absolutely wrong, because honestly, being a principal of a school from a very long number of years, I've seen that children ape their parents. And the reason is that in many homes, this is not being under control, or maximum of the homes, this is not being under control, because parents themselves are failing to become the role model for their own children. So somewhere we need to cut this off as a habit ourselves as adults, where we need to set a perfect role example for our children, showing it to them that if I mean that after 10 o'clock, I would not want you to use screen time, or I don't want you to use the mobile or your laptop. Let's all make it as a rule for the family that we need to put it aside. No matter how important your work is, if you are a teenager, maybe your assignments are very important, your homework given to you is very important, but there needs to be a defined time when you need to finish that. So I will probably, as a mother, I would suggest to all the other mothers that you set up a time where you complete your own work assignments for your child, to understand that when my parents can do it, why can't I? So what we basically call as this new generation children, as the digital natives that they are, they're so much into this because unfortunately they have not been exposed to anything else except what we have really given them as a gift. So everything, I mean, from a toddler today, I mean, when a child is newborn, he's barely a year old, and you find a mother trying to feed him or stuff him forcefully with a mobile in a hand. So what do you really expect of a child? I mean, a teenager is way beyond a toddler. When you can't even control a year-old child, you can't really expect a teenager to listen to you, unless the suggestions are, I don't know how much it really works, unless you compensate it with something really beautiful and really, really very precious. So the pandemic again again has given us an opportunity to go back to that same kind of family life. If you don't want your teenagers hooked onto the screen time or to the internet or the social media, let's get back to the traditional old ways of getting back to our family times, going to those traditional old games of Ludo, playing hide and seek within the house of treasure, finding out a treasure game, or playing Antakshari, as simple as that. These sound very simple, very normal, but believe me, when you do it with your kids, they love it because they are so glad to connect to us with the born generation that they would love to know something like this that has been happening in ages old back times and all that, and suddenly they have something more to do than just flick their thumbs over some gadget which is meaningless, lifeless, and they would love the company and companionship of their parents, their siblings, their relatives in their homes and all. So why not utilize this time for that? And I'm sure when you always try to give back something more important, more precious to a child, no matter what age, whether it's a 16-year-old teenager or whether it is a child of any other age, they would definitely put aside the gadget. I mean, if you read out from a book for a young child with a lot of voice modulation, with a lot of expression, he would definitely want to hear you. If it is a teenager and if you have an intellectual talk with the child, why would he not really want to spend time with you rather than getting on to a gadget? I know it's not very as easy as it is said, but I'm very sure it really works out in today's world. And I think this is the best time that has been brought back to us by the universe, and we can utilize that. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I agree with that. Thanks. Mrs. Pallavi Sharma, can we hear from you, please?
Yeah. Good evening and greetings to all the panelists. I totally agree with what all the panelists have mentioned. And when we are discussing, I don't want to repeat what has already been said because it would just be a repetition. But what I personally feel is that when we are talking about teenagers, we really need to understand the psyche of these, these young adults. They are ready to take on the world. They want to feel special about themselves. And it's the worst thing that could ever happen to children this age, where they would never be a teenager. Like a child would never become a teenager or live back those years. So I think it's actually very sad what has happened with children, that schools are closed, the parks are closed, there's no going out of the homes. They're locked down in their homes. And when we keep talking about screen time, yes, I do agree that screen time has gone up during the pandemic. But think about it, hasn't it always been there? Mobile phones are not new. The PS4 games we are talking about, the television is not new to these children. It has always been around. Children have always been using their phones, their PS4s. But yes, what I feel is that now they have more time, because if we do not use that time in a productive way, they will eventually keep going back, because that's where they feel they can utilize their time. They are looking for their friends. Like in my school, we have tried, and I have done this even for my teachers. We have tried to keep them busy through various scholastic kind of activities. We have tried to integrate the lessons in such a way that children keep busy, so 2-3 hours every day goes into doing something which they are passionate about. We are trying to integrate the various arts into their curriculum, and we are involving them whatever they like to do. So if children are busy, and if I like to do something, I would rather, because I had a student who came and told me, ma'am, he asked for help. He asked out for help. He said, ma'am, I play the PS4 every night, and I am having violent thoughts. I said, child, you are so fortunate that you could actually find out what is wrong. If you're getting violent thoughts, leave that game. And he said, ma'am, I understand now. I don't want to play the game, but what should I do? I have nothing to do. I don't have any sibling at home. My parents don't have time for me. What am I to do? So, a lot of counseling is needed. And I think schools here need to play a big and major role, because come to think of it, even parents are struggling with their careers, their jobs. How many of them can give as much time to the children? Yes, it's very important that we counsel the parents to spend time with the family, but children need a lot of counseling, and children need to know alternate leisure, ways of having fun. screen time is not the only way. If we tell them gardening, we involve them into so many different kind of activities where they were busy doing something hands-on. I feel and I really believe that a lot of children have felt more satisfied. They have come back to us to say that they are happier. They are not feeling as sad because, what is being seen at home is only the news, which is very depressing at times. And children this age just feel like the world is coming to an end, which it is not. They don't understand. They're not mature enough. They just see all the sad things happening in their homes. So we need to involve them. I feel as school leaders, as teachers, as parents, if we counsel the children to get into activities which they can spend more time with, which will help them in their career, in their education also, I think we will be able to remove a lot of stress and depression, because withdrawal symptoms are being seen in children who are just getting withdrawn and don't want to talk to anyone. They are missing their friends, and we cannot, I don't think it's any fault of theirs. This age, you look out for your friends, you wait to go to school, and here you're stuck into your homes for the last 1 year maybe. And this is not how teenage should be, So I think we can, as school leaders, I think we can take that step forward, counsel them and give them alternate measures. And I'm sure we'll be able to bring about a big difference. So I've just tried to put in my different points of view because I didn't want to repeat. But yes, I do agree with everything all the educators here have mentioned. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your thoughts. Ms. Urmimala Sudhakar, can we hear from you, please?
Good evening once again to all the panelists, and thank you so much. You've all spoken my mind, so I think I'll speak a little differently now. Firstly, let me talk about the topic which says prolonged screen time and insomnia impact on teenagers. So I will first talk about what is exactly screen time. Now, screen time is any amount of time we spend on a device with a screen, whether that's our smartphone, a TV, whether it's our laptop, whether it's any game with a console, which have always been there for decades, that has been there, like Pallavi Sharma ma'am said. Then I come to the term, what is insomnia? Now, insomnia is a sleep disorder in which one has trouble falling asleep. It could be a short-term case, which is called acute insomnia, which may last for a short period of time. It could be chronic, which could be from anything to 3 weeks to 3 months and beyond. So these are the two basic terms that we've been talking about. Now, how are the two related? Now, the amount of screen time we spend has a direct impact on our sleep, because yes, the light from the screen does interfere with the sleep producing hormone known as melatonin in our body. And this is why digital devices right before bedtime make it much more difficult for anyone to fall asleep. And this is one of the prime causes for insomnia among teenagers. Now, then I want to talk about how bad is insomnia? Can we take it lightly? In simpler words, what are the consequences? Perhaps one of the most worrying consequences of excessive usage of screen time is that the brain gets into an addictive mode. It gets into an addictive state where the rush of the pleasure-inducing dopamine one gets by using the digital devices, it activates the brain's reward center and then insidiously makes one crave for more. This is why teenagers find themselves trapped, in this vicious circle of screen addiction. So what do we do about it? That's the question for us school leaders. The main thing is definitely reduction of screen time, but more so immediately before and after going to sleep. Definitely 30 minutes before going to bed and after waking up. We have to keep all devices away. Now, how do we do that? Before going to bed, everyone is addicted to the device. So the only way out is definitely pick up a book, sit with the family, have a little family time together, have a little fun time together, read a magazine, read anything, but keep that device with the screen away. Right after waking up, there are so many things we can do instead of first thing picking up the device to check the latest notification. We need to stop doing that as adults. Only then can we send the right message to our family members and to the larger community. Taking a walk, doing some yoga, breathing exercise, getting some fresh air, all of it are ways by which we can definitely stop the dependence on screen time and on devices which give the brain the wrong kind of messages at time. Because what is happening, what are we noticing because of this excessive prolonged screen time, leading to obesity, chronic health issues, a lot of eating disorder, low self-esteem. All these are the outcomes of prolonged screen time. And definitely insomnia, the biggest. Because of insomnia, it leads to a lot of other problems, a lot of other health issues. Prolonged usage of screen, prolonged sitting in a position leads to a lot of physical problems. So what I feel, I will keep it short now. In these difficult times, where being an educator myself, I understand we cannot move away from the screen because more and more we're getting pulled into it. Now by sitting at home, all of us are hooked onto it, or by virtue of the profession we are into it, or by virtue of the need of the hour, we are on screen time. But then taking small breaks, moving away from too much of social media, and leading by personal example. We need to lead by personal example, by spreading it within the family, by spreading it within the close community, by spreading it within the larger society, spreading the message of reduced screen time. Small healthy habits will definitely help our mind and body to cope with this new normal. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. So moving on to our questions now. Ms. Shalini, you made a very pertinent point about how parents feed their children at a young age when they're toddlers in front of the phone and stuff. So I would just like to ask you in that context, are there any other such habits that you think parents should refrain from a young age itself with their kids so as to discourage prolonged screen time later?
Yes. So I know it's not justified me pointing out, some of the habits that the parents tend to reflect in their families or amongst their children. But I think we do have a point here when we try to point it out, because when they come and complain about the children not listening to them or really not adhering to the instructions given by the parents about, ma'am, dekho na ye. So that's the time when we go pura time haath mein mobile lekar, if you look around, everybody is so hooked on to the mobiles all the time. So very rarely will you find a father not really deep inside the mobile, even while he's trying to answer his own daughter or his own son. I mean, you look around yourself and look at this scenario in every family today when a child is trying to ask a question for which he earnestly wants an answer back. And he has to keep nudging his father or his mother every now and then, suno na papa, suno na mama. And and it's after the third or the fourth call of the child that the father really pays attention. And what is it? I mean, it's very impatiently, again, a re-question to the child, what is it that you want? Can't you see how busy I am? And this is a very typical scenario in every family today. So we generally, when we are taking up orientations or we are taking up these counseling sessions for our parents, we tell them with these small ones, please put your mobiles away, because it's something that the child is observing more than he's listening to you. So if you really want your small one or a little one not to give more importance to that gadget in your hand and to focus on you as a parent, you should be the only prominent person or the object in front of your child. Put away that gadget. Let the child just focus on you. This is how we grew up. I only had my mother in front of me or my father in front of me to communicate with. So I wouldn't have my mother looking into the mobile, listening to my child and looking at the mobile. Similarly, when you're talking or addressing to a teenager whose self-esteem is very high, whose self-respect is very high, and who is more of an observer and wants to really understand, are you talking the same walk that you are trying to ask me to take? So you have to be very careful when you're trying to talk to a teenager and tell him, put away your mobile, and he says, "Aap kya kar rahe ho?" You basically get this kind of a shoot back of an answer back from a teenager. So you have to be very careful when you are talking to a teenager or addressing to them or relating to them. And quality time with your family is a must, with your children is a must. Otherwise, if you allow them and if you don't set up your own timings or your boundaries with them, they are bound to take up or compensate the gadgets, with you. You don't have a mom or a dad really giving you enough time. Right now, the situation is so bad, there are no friends around. So whom does a child really talk to? So screen time is, or the social media is the only way he really puts out himself into, or drowns himself into. And then it's all the wrong things probably, because we assume, of course, there is a lot of good things also happening through the, screen time. There is a lot of intellectual and knowledge gaining also happening through the screen time and all. But we focus on कि आप पूरा time mobile पे बैठे हो, तो what are you doing? You can even ask a good question. What did you really go through today and what did you really learn? Can we discuss that out? More meaningful and doing what you're always assuming out of the screen time. So there are a lot of ways the human touch has to be basically brought back. The parents need to be getting back with the children and showing that I'm available over here, not like a gadget, but as in person with you, and you can share everything that you really want to. I'll be there to respond.
Thank you, ma'am. So basically, modeling the right behavior for your children is really important. Whatever it is, I think, whether it's
And I
about
feel every child is silently screaming out, stay with me.
whether it's about prolonged screen time or even like the right etiquettes, I think it's very important for parents to model the right
And
way.
screen time is really leading them to, like how ma'am has pointed out, obesity, ill health, lack of sleep, because nobody's checking on them anymore. So then you need to be, as a parent, all the time available, maybe not physically. There are many other ways also to connect to your child.
Thank you, ma'am. Completely agree with what you said. So, Mrs. Pallavi, considering the physical problems caused by prolonged screen time, such as obesity, as ma'am just said, what are some of the rules that parents should set to avoid them?
Like what ma'am mentioned, Shalini ma'am just mentioned, when we are trying to feed our children when we are with the TV and, trying to, I think at homes it should be banned watching TV and eating. We should, when we eat, we should sit together, we should talk, we should bring up a conversation. It is very important that the family speaks to each other. Even in my school, I've made it very, we keep telling the parents, don't sit in front of the TV, a serial is going on and something is going on and you're watching and eating. That should not be how it is. Let's eat together, talk, you'll share your experiences. That is very important. It's very important that healthy food, the very fact that we explain to children that flour is not good, the maidas are the white poisons, if I may put it in that way. Children are doing a lot of junk food nowadays, especially at home. They keep blackmailing their parents. So, we need to look for alternates to get children to be eating right. And of course, working out is very important. I think yoga, meditation, and if the whole family can do it together, let's make all these family culture, to exercise together, do yoga together. So what happens is everybody in the family participates. We spend more time, we play together, we spend time together, and the negative thoughts are removed from the child. You feel very confident when you feel you have a family. There was a joke on Facebook and WhatsApp that, I spend time with my family. They're not really as bad as I thought they were, because I was always spending time on Facebook and all. I never spent time with my family. So it's important that we, all these thoughts, I think with all these good routines, our health, our physical problems will surely be solved, because we are not able to go out of the homes. Of course, if we can take children out to the parks. Physical workout, running is important. Good eating habits, eating at the right time. Again, when we talk about insomnia, we should ensure that we are eating at the right time. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, the snacking should all be done at regular intervals. All of this is very important, and I think the family culture makes a lot of difference. So it's important that the family plans and, models for the younger ones. It's very important that we keep our family culture intact in terms of eating and healthy living.
Thank you, ma'am. So, Ms. Urmimala Sudhakar, what are the ways in which increased screen time can impact a teenager's mental health? Could you take us a little through that, please?
Okay, you're talking of mental health. Yes, definitely. First and foremost is a lot of games we all know have violent content in it. And this is a major problem for us school leaders handling violence because of exposure to violent games. So definitely to be reduced from the parents by parental intervention. Then again, mental health gets affected because the cognitive thinking power gets affected due to too much of exposure, and as a result, the attention span weakens, the ability to retain, the retention power weakens, and also too much of exposure to social media. I'm not talking of only screen time, to social media affects sometimes the self-esteem also of teenagers. We are more bothered about having a good screen image than really about bothering about what the actual image is or what we are actually doing to ourselves. Since overexposure to screen time does induce health problems like obesity, does induce health problems, other chronic health problems like maybe type 2 diabetes, or maybe increased glucose presence in the blood. So it leads to health problems which affects the brain also. It affects the spinal cord, which definitely has a direct impact on the brain. So a lot of all these are related to each other. Exposure to screen time leads both to mental and physical problems. Mental problems more because then it affects with the sleep cycle, it affects with relationships, it affects the family bonds that one has, because one is so hooked on to one's time of spending on the screen that one is willing to compromise with family time, one is willing to compromise with relationships, one is more close to someone who's sitting 200 kilometers away than to the person who's sitting 2 feet away from you. I mean, what could be a bigger example of how mental health is affected by overexposure to screen time, prolonged screen time? It actually hooks us onto it and takes us away from the reality, takes us away from the real world. We are more in a virtual make-believe world. That's how the entire perception of life gets affected sometimes, by being only in a make-believe world.
Deeply agree, ma'am. Thank you. Dr. Ritu Chauhan, you said you have 2 daughters, right? So I thought my next question would be relevant. Can you tell us about social media? Because we know how largely it can affect a child's mind, mental health. So how important is it for a parent to educate the child on responding wisely to social media?
Yeah, it's again, my daughters are in teenage, so I don't mind repeating it again that I have to keep a check on them. Not like I don't trust them, but as a mother, just to see, because I think Udmi ma'am mentioned about this one, like a lot of violent thoughts are coming in the child's mind and all. So I have recently observed that one of our student, he was mentioning the same thing, and it was to that extent that he created his own WhatsApp group and all that with students, and they all started getting into it. So parents brought it to our notice. So then we had a parent counseling done, and as a school principal, I have spoken to all the parents grade wise, because the problem of maybe the grade 1 or UKG child is different than the problem of grade 8 or 10 a child. So we have done with our coordinators. So what I'm trying to say again, social media, when it comes, you have a lot of exposure, like on YouTube, lot of like offensive, I will put it that way. Content is available. Yes, there are guidelines by Facebook that you cannot make your ID below this age, but you know how our kids are very smart, so they do cross all the limits. So I just want to mention to the parents generally, it's up to you if you want to do it. From Google, there is something called Family Link app. The name of the app is Family Link. So I have downloaded it in my phone, and I have, connected it with both my kids' phones, because phones are mandatory, they have to use. So how much time they spend on YouTube or Facebook or Insta, lot of craze for Insta they have. So I get to know that. And I don't interfere every time or every day. As Madam said, that we need to have that some family time or some discussion we can do in their, during the night time, just before they sleep. So that time we just put it in such a way that they don't feel that we are checking on them, but we just ask in different way, and we just tell them how to use that social media sensibly. And to parents also, we have done counseling, because all kinds of parents we have. So we need to actually counsel again and again parents and the students, because elder students definitely they mock their parents. So we need to be role models. So somewhere social media is part of your life. You need to live with it, but how to use it responsibly and with the proper mindset, like Madam said, low self-esteem, seeing the virtual world, how beautiful the other girls are, maybe girls start zero diet and all those things. So I feel a lot of counseling and guidance is required, and we as parents need to check. Sometimes we delay it too much, that it leads to something major problem with our kids. So I think by these things we can control and guide our students. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I agree with that. It is important to monitor without being like over controlling helicopter parents. Yeah, thank you. Mr. Alok, you spoke about the blue light and how parents can take certain measures to inculcate healthy screen habits. So can you tell me, coming to screen time usage, how much is too much in your opinion?
Ma'am, basically, I also gave a bit of formula out here, like 2020 formula was there. Of course, blue light, what happens, blue light ignites our mind that this is a daytime. So when we get up early in the morning, it's just because of the blue light. Of course, blue light is actually not harmful, but in case we are gluing onto this screen for a very long time after the sunset, then we have this problem of insomnia. So the 2020 formula, which I have suggested, you work on a screen for 20 minutes, then take a break of 20 seconds and have a vision. Look at a distant object which is placed at 20 feet, and then again get back onto this 20 for another 20 minutes. So if that thing works, and I would like to suggest we should not go for this blue light filters or glasses or lenses. They basically do not work. Blue light is a good light, a helpful light, but yes, if we can fix the timing, that like someone rightly pointed out, that fix a timetable, have a routine after 10, inculcate a habit of reading, spend a quality family time, so you can get rid of this problem with insomnia.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And thank you to all of you today for being a part of this discussion. I really enjoyed this. All of your inputs were very valuable. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you for having us with you.
And with that, we come to the end of this interesting conversation where we learned so much about the repercussions prolonged screen time can have on teenagers. Due to time constraints, we could only take a few questions, but if you do have any additional queries, do feel free to write to us and we'd be glad to answer your questions offline. For more such videos, do log on to our website, theENN.com, and don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel. For now, signing off, Nitya.